Hey, so we're looking at Apple. Again, we're sticking with the FANG stocks, getting close to the end of our FANG sector of videos. So this one, last time we looked, it was at 149. It was nearing a sell point, in my opinion, which is marked out at 156. It's currently at 155. It looks like it touched that point at some point during this past week and came right back down to 155. After hours, it's trading a little bit less than that. We'll kind of see how it plays out over this next week. I think I the way I'm seeing it, it might go a little bit above. I mean, ultimately, if it goes above uh, that 156, like clearly goes above it into like the 160s, I think the next point of interest is going to be right around like 170. So we can draw in a faint red line right around here. I'm going to kind of split between these two peaks, and it kind of hits this one too. Right around 172 will be another point of interest. But right now, I think it's more likely to hit its head on the 156 and pull back, just like it's done in the more recent times. And even just maybe a month ago, it kind of did that too. So, for whatever reason, 156 seems to be the limit for this one, at least in the short term. So, for me, I'm going to be patient on this one. I think ideally, we have 139, which isn't support, but it's slightly above a support line. And so what I'm going to do is update this to 128 and 139 as buy points, and we're going to just change the color coding there, just so we're aware that there's multiple buy points. Short term, it does look like it's in this uptrend here, and it's been that way since about the beginning of the year. So that's a good thing to notice. So it's currently at 155. Whoops, 155. And if we're gonna take out some of these other colors that we have, and I'll share this in just a minute. So trend line, if we were to draw in this type, and we can make that gold, we can even make it a little bit thicker of a line so we can all see it. So it's definitely in a pretty strong uptrend. I think we'll see what happens next week. I'm very interested to see what happens next week because, yeah, 156 seems like it's a very strong resistance line, at least in the past like 6-ish months. I think it's going to hold strong again. If it does hold, maybe the new support line's at like 146. That might be like the low in the short term. Ultimately, 139 I think is a solid time to buy. Don't really think any time in between. What we can do is add in a horizontal line here. We can make this one blue, and we'll make this one slightly less bold, just because like it's an intermediary type of resistance line, or I guess support line, more or less just capturing the past 2-ish months, and yeah, about 2 months, month and a half. So I think if it gets rejected here at 155, which it kind of did last week, but not enough to pull back like I wanted to. I think if it pulled back to like 146, I would consider buying it. If it breaks the 146, I think 139 is definitely on the table. And then if it breaks 139, I think the next point, and we can even draw in another one, another faint line would be right around 136. If it goes through 146, I think 136 is very likely. And that's kind of the range. This bold one, I think it's more just to capture this point and maybe here-ish, I guess. I think what we'll do is remove that line, and we'll make these our fair value range. So let's make that thicker. So that's like the fair value range. Right now we're above that point. We're very close to the sell point. However, we are in that uptrend. So I think the first point of interest for this one would be 149, which isn't that far away. If it gets to there, maybe 146. That's still a little bit high, but it kind of breaks the uptrend. Just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Apple. That doesn't mean that they're, not a great company or anything like that. Clearly, they're a great company. But yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of them. We'll kind of see how it plays out. Overall, I'm just going to be patient on this one. It seems like it's at a sell point. Yeah, there's just not enough for this one. I feel like over the past dozen videos, I've seen other better buy points for this. So I'll just be patient with this one, see how it plays over the next couple weeks. Yeah, so a few changes we made. The uptrend, we decided to make a fair value range as opposed to just like one point in the middle roughly. Yeah, the 128 seems to be more and more likely to be off the table. I do think 136 is still in the realm of possibilities. Maybe even that should be moved up a little bit to like maybe 137. Not a big difference there. But I would like to see it kind of fall between this range, 136 and 146, before doing anything. And however, if it does that, it breaks the uptrend. We'll just be patient with this one. Nothing, no moves necessarily. The only thing I can say is I do think it's going to be hard for it to get over the 156 mark, 157 mark. So I think we will see a down week next week. I just don't know by how much. The interesting thing is because I've seen this type of trend with, I'm going to say, 3 other FANG stocks. If this one breaks, I'd be wondering if the other 3 are also going to pull back too. That'll be something interesting to keep a lookout for, but I feel like that's a good summary of this. No real news that I'm aware of with Apple, outside of the fact that they want to start making their own semiconductor chips, which would take away from Qualcomm. But outside of that, I'm sure they released like a new tablet or something. But yeah, if you have any other information about Apple, by all means let me know in the comments. I'd be very interested in hearing that. But here's Apple. This is kind of how I'm seeing it. So you can see it looks like Netflix, Microsoft, and Meta were all in this short-term uptrend. Apple's fitting that trend too. So be curious to see if one of them breaks out of that. Does that mean all of them will break out of it? Kind of curious to see how that what happens there over the next couple weeks. But again, just a little quick summary. So currently it's at 155. These are my mark buy points. And because of the uptrend, that 128 is looking less likely and might even need to just be pulled out. And maybe the buy points actually need to be increased slightly to maybe like within the mid to low 140s is possible. But we'll see how it plays out next week. I do think 156, which it's like right there, I think that's going to be a strong line, a strong barrier that I think it's going to struggle with that, trying to get over that mark. Of course, we'll see what happens next week and the week after. And that's kind of why I'm willing to wait on this one. I think it's going to hit its head on that and pull back. And if it pulls back, preferably in the low 140s, okay, then I'll swoop in and maybe pick up a share or two. But yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments below, and of course, like, subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And I'll see you in the next one.